Hi everyone, this is Gavin from Gavin's Gadgets, and this is the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro, and this is my review. So in this review I'm going to talk about camera, and there's going to be a lot of samples. If you follow me on Twitter at Gavin's Gadgets, I've done a lot of three-way photo comparisons, which are a lot easier to do on there because you can spend all the time in the world looking at the differences between this, the OnePlus 8, the iPhone 11 Pro. So I've done lots and lots of comparisons on there, but I'm going to show you some of the photos from here, talk about the cameras, talk about what I feel about the cameras. Remember, photography is what I do. So I'm going to be very honest. I'm going to talk about the audio and all the other parts of the hardware, plus all the things that they need to fix, because this is still on early firmware. Now it does come with this case, and it does have this is called Alpine White. It's absolutely beautiful. I actually love the finish on this. So one of the key things here is the 108 megapixel camera, 20 megapixel ultra wide, and then it has two different zooms. It has 2x optical and 5x optical, and that works to ensure that when you're doing portraits or just close-up stuff while using portrait mode, that you can have that balance of having the two focal ranges to work with. But let's talk about the overall hardware. The hardware is excellent. So it has a Snapdragon 865, it's got 5G, it has a liquid cooling system so it doesn't get too hot. There's a 4,500 milliwatt battery in here. It does 50-watt fast charging. Now in the box, very exciting, I'm not doing an unboxing, you know what's in a box for God's sake, is a 65-watt charger that is excellent for charging anything that you need, like laptops, anything with USB-C works very well. This can do a 45-minute charge from 0 to 100%, and I've tested it. I don't charge this overnight. I actually charge it before I go to bed. So I enter the bathroom, do my teeth, blah, 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 whatever, and then I put it on charge. And normally, because the battery lasts all day, it hasn't gone down to 0, and it's like 20, 25 minutes, sometimes just 5, 10 minutes, you know, it really depends how much I've used it, and it just charges up really fast. It does have dual speakers, and I'll talk about that as well. It does say it can do 10 times hybrid zoom with dual OIS, and I'll talk about what I think about the 10 times zoom. And it does say it can do 8K video, which it does really well. So this is the global unit. It does have the UFS 3.0 flash storage with the LPD DR5 RAM, so it's 29% faster than the older versions. 8 gig of RAM seems to work fairly well, and 256 gig of storage. And I'll talk about how this compares, because I had the OnePlus 8 Pro, which I really love, and still think that's a really good phone, how this compares to that OnePlus. And it is quite surprising, the differences. You might think they're all the same, but they're not. This does have 30-watt wireless fast charging, but you need the special Xiaomi charger to enable that to occur. It does do reverse wireless charging as well. It's got Wi-Fi 6, so it's got all the latest standards on there, as well as 5G. And you can combine Wi-Fi and cellular at the same time if you need. So some of you will know this is the Mi 10 Pro. There is actually a Mi 10, and the main sort of differences is this is an eight-piece lens, which lets in has more light gathering abilities than the Mi 10, and actually does take better photos. So it's got an 8 megapixel 10 times hybrid zoom, 12 megapixel portrait camera, 108 megapixel main sensor, and 20 megapixel ultra wide. And again, I'm going to have a full gallery of some of the photos I've taken on that, so you can see. So the idea is with the the smaller zoom lens is to get you 50mm really super good portrait shots, Does work good on solid subjects as well, and you can adjust before you take the shot the amount of bokeh you want as well. So that works extremely well, and it's quite clear. I would be honest with you, 5 times zoom is great, 10 times is borderline, and personally I wouldn't bother. But anything past 10 times, yes, it says it can do it. Don't even waste your time. Because I just think quality degrades so quickly, and it obviously over sharpens. It does have, I will do some more on the camera later on, but it does have a pro mode. It does have special features it can do. It has lots of fun video features on the camera. But I just want to talk about where we are today, because this does need, in my mind, it's fresh out the box, the global. Does need a couple of updates, so I will come back and I'll tell you what the bugs are, obviously, and then some of the infuriating things that are going on. But I also wanted to give you a quick view now, and then I'll come back and talk about some of the actual pieces if they fix them. Hopefully they do. You've got exposure and focus lock, shoot steady video, so you can have ultra steady video. That seems to be only at 1080p. The full super steady stuff at 30 frames per second. You can do focus peaking. You've got AI, a camera both in video and in photos. And also what you can have, if you want to use some of its movie modes, you can got something called movie frame, which does an aspect ratio of 2.35 to 1. So that's where you have the ultra, very cinematic looking. And you can do portrait mode, background blurring in video as well, color focus, and there's 8 classic movie filters that if you want to do. So it's very good. Now I'll just talk about the audio and microphones in a minute as well. Just to know more about the hardware. That's a 90 hertz screen. It does have this plastic screen protector. It gets so dusty. I will be taking it off and just going without any protector on the screen. I hate it. There's no reason to have it. It does have an in-screen fingerprint sensor, which is okay. It's not the fastest, but it does work really well. Battery life has been stellar. It has a 15 levels of loudspeaker, and I'll see if I can play something back for you. Let's just do that now. Let's do that speaker test for you right now. So let's have a look if I can do it. So this is copyright-free music, and let's try this. So, right, loads it. Right, about half volume. Let's just find something with a bit more bass. Let's have a look. I think this might be better. Let's try this one. So what you have here, you've got proper stereo speakers top and bottom. This has some of the most best sounding speakers on any phone, period. Very, very good. In fact, the whole audio system is pretty amazing. I'll cover that off as well. HDR10 plus supported, up to 12,000 nits in brightness. Generally speaking, when you're outside, I would say the iPhone 11 Pro screen is probably more readable outside generally than this. It's still very good. It's 180 hertz sampling rate as well. So good screen, P3 wide color gamut. So from a hardware point of view, it ticks all the boxes, and obviously the Snapdragon 865 sits in here. So I'll talk about audio now. So there's no headphone jack, but it does have Bluetooth audio. It does come with a USB-C to 3.5 adapter in the box, which is handy. It does sound extremely good through Bluetooth. Extremely good. It has a whole audio section where you can adjust profiles, EQ. If you plug in a mic, external mic, it does come up with a whole range of options. You can customize the mic sound. The OnePlus 8 Pro does not support external mics. So I couldn't use my external mic to record video on the OnePlus 8 Pro. Pleased to report you can really easy on this. Absolutely fantastic. There was an update that came for the launcher, which added an app drawer. So this does have the app drawer in it, just side note. Going back to the audio, the Bluetooth is fantastic. Headphone audio, and you can customize the sound as well. Also has presets depending how old you are, up to 30 to 60 and over 60. It's a very, very amazing piece of hardware, and some of the specs are fantastic. At the top, there's an IR blaster, so you can use that to control your telly and anything else. It's infrared, and you use the Mi app on there, and then you can create a shortcut. So I've got a shortcut of my TV on there, and so from an audio point of view, this is a dream piece of kit. Really, really audio sounds fantastic. Probably also down to that Snapdragon 865 does help. What about the camera? And the camera's quite controversial because I've done a lot of testing on Twitter and not everyone's agreed with me at all. So remember, my Twitter profile is Gavin's Gadgets. And the main thing is there's a 108 megapixel camera. So first of all, I'm going to give you a honest comparison between the OnePlus 8 Pro, this, and the iPhone 11 Pro. I still think for out and out video quality, the iPhone 11 Pro is just unbeatable, still unbeatable. The front camera can do 4K 60, and I'll just leave it there. That's on the iPhone 11 Pro. So just works very well. But the iPhone can't do 8K video on the rear. So it's always, you know, some are better than others in some things. This does have a night mode. It works very well. It doesn't need to do ultra long exposures either. It seems to find this shot pretty fast. So it shoots at 108, but it pixel bins 4:1. So you get 27 megapixel sized photo. And that's huge. And this is the first negative. So if you leave the setting in the cameras at JPEG, no problem at all, just very big file sizes. But there's an option to record everything in height, I think it's HIEC, which is what the iPhone works on. And the file sizes are massively smaller and much more manageable. But this is the first problem. This is a bug. I don't know whether it's a bug from Xiaomi's end, Google, or both. Google Photos cannot upload height files. So I have to import them into Adobe Lightroom and export them straight out as JPEGs. Kind of defeats the purpose because they're back out a super large file. The advantage of using height is there's more, the bitmap, the bit depths are bigger, twice as big. There's a lot more information for editing. So it's also you can go back on the edits as well. It's non-destructive. It's just a much better format to photograph, and the photos do look marginally better. But because of that issue, I've had to turn back on JPEG. That's the first thing. And there's some compatibility again when you go to download photos that you've got on Google Photos. It's just some weird stuff going on there. It's probably Google. Whether it gets fixed or not, I don't know, whether it's Google or Xiaomi or something. But this is on its original firmware out of the box. So give it a bit of space on there. But that's the biggest bugbear because the camera is so important. In terms of everything else, because of the huge sensor on this 108 megapixel sensor, you do get ridiculous levels of bokeh. Ridiculous. And I think the photos look really professional. But what you can't do, is very hard to do, is get super close. You can just have a macro mode. But I will say this, if you've got the OnePlus 8 Pro and you want a macro as your thing, the OnePlus 8 Pro is undoubtedly the best phone I've seen, period, for macros without any add-on lenses. Quality is amazing. I think this takes better photos than the iPhone 11 Pro in all the different options. And I even think it takes better quality photos than the OnePlus 8 Pro. But when you get this, you have to learn to use it because you've suddenly got this bokeh that is huge. And if you're too close, the background just completely lost because it's all blurred. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And if you can control it, you can really get the most professional, natural looking shots ever. And hopefully, I said I was going to show you after, but I've actually put them before. So you should have seen those photos in the gallery and given you some good idea of what they look like. I personally really hoping that there's can be some updates on this phone to fix some of the bugs. There's a few other bugs here and there, but the camera one in terms of that height. And also it seems that when you edit, if you take the photo in, say, Adobe Lightroom or another app, when you export it, it's lost all its metadata, a lot of its metadata. So it doesn't say lost the location, it's lost what phone was on and all that sort of stuff. Why is it doing that? That doesn't make sense. It's crazy. So very good audio, very good camera, if you know how to use it. And then obviously there's the Pro mode and all the other stuff on there. And then you talk about battery life. It's excellent. Better than OnePlus 8 Pro. It's as good as my iPhone 11 Pro. In fact, I've never topped up the charge on this since I've had it. It just goes through the day. No matter what I do, no matter how many photos I take, no matter what I do, it works really well. And I think this is a good combination of hardware, software. There's a few other nitty things that obviously need improving, and I hope they do. But it hasn't stopped me putting my main SIM in here. Anyway, any questions, just shout and ask. This is Gavin from Gavin's Gadgets. Catch you guys soon. Bye for now.